And we are joined now by security expert AJ Irwin. We appreciate you being here tonight. This has been a busy and emotional day for a lot of folks. But jumping right into this, I'm wondering if you can't help us get into the mindset of James Holmes. This is somebody who was on no security watch list at all, no record, no dealings with police. A traffic ticket, I think, is what he had. What is going on in his mind?
Well, this is a person who has never been anybody. He's always been kind of in the back, and for some reason something triggered him and he wanted to make a name for himself. And so he's done this. Apparently the police, the law enforcement officers in Colorado have determined that he acted alone. So he's gained some notoriety for himself. Apparently he couldn't do that academically or on the athletic field. I've heard stories about him as a soccer player in high school where the members of his team didn't even remember.
They knew everybody else, but didn't know him
until they had to look at a picture and then share stories.
Interesting about this guy, though, everybody, and not to praise him, but everybody in talking about this is what a planner, very smart, meticulous. Everything was planned out. And we talked a little earlier. I'm wondering the way he gave up and gave it up so quickly in full body armor. Do you think he's got something else coming? Some manifesto he's going to release through his attorney? Or is there something else that's going to happen? Since he was such a planner, has he also planned this part of it?
Well, I think his plan was to gain notoriety. I don't think that there's anything else coming from him that would be of danger to anybody.
He's done it.
I think that once the law enforcement officers are able to enter into his apartment where he lived, they're going to find lots of stuff on his computer or on some kind of, doing some forensic analysis. And they're going to find out what was driving him to do what he did. But there's a trigger, and that's what they're looking for right now.
Well, Steve mentioned the planning, and boy, that's one thing about this too. I mean, he had law enforcement hasn't even been able to get into that apartment. Firefighters are saying it's going to be tomorrow because this place is so booby-trapped. This was a guy who was called quiet by all his neighbors, and yet at midnight, before the shooting, that techno music starts blaring from his apartment. Did he want somebody to go up there, open the door, and, I don't know, cause a diversion, an explosion, something?
I think he wanted the police to respond to a noise call, to a complaint from one of his neighbors, and he wanted them to be injured or killed when they opened this door, and then the explosive device went off, and then there was a big fire. So that would injure all law enforcement officers, plus it would divert all of the available officers.
Can you imagine the response if a couple of police officers had been injured in some kind of explosion? Everybody would have rolled to that apartment, and he would have had who knows how long at the movie theater, right?
He would have had what we call a soft target. He would have had no law enforcement to be able to stop him from carrying out even more.
You think he's a real coward, though, right? Because as soon as the police showed up, this guy
just said, "I'm done."
Out.
Yeah, I believe that part of his plan was cowardly, that he was willing to attack unarmed people. But once law enforcement officers arrived on the scene, and I have to applaud them for the time they arrived.
90 seconds.
And they were ready to shoot back and have a battle with them. He gave up.
So are we hearing, or do you think we're going to hear anytime soon anything about a motive? We do know that he was talking to police at one point, then the attorney shows up and he gets quiet. But, I mean, could it be something as simple as notoriety? Is he mad at somebody? It's so hard to comprehend.
Well, I think we'll hear about it if it's something that we can use throughout the United States for security purposes. But if it's not something like that, and it's something that's going to be used in court during his trial, then it might be something that we don't hear a lot about. But I think we are going to hear about it because when something like this does happen, the reaction around the country is people are scared.
And people are scared. And on that topic, I got a Facebook message from somebody, and I know this is never going to happen to any of us because it's so rare, but she said, ask what we should do. I think that will make people feel better. You're a security expert. If you happen to be there, what do you do?
Well, I think what this father did with his child was heroic. He took care of him, he took cover. But the one thing I like to tell people is you have to be proactive about security. And so if you see things happening, you see strange behavior, something suspicious, somebody dressed in full body armor, parking in the back, leaving the movie theater through an emergency exit only, you have to act then. That's when you have to say something. The days of not getting involved, they just don't work anymore. You have to go to a trained professional and tell them what you see.
I just think something like this was just so unexpected. I mean, at a movie like Batman, you see somebody maybe in costume, it's just not
And we're going to hear
Not how we live.
I think we're going to hear the stories. Somebody's going to, a friend, I noticed he was acting strange. That'll come out, unfortunately, after the fact. It needed to come out before.
Yes.
Who noticed his strange behavior. Okay, AJ Irwin.
AJ, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
meeting you.